Hey there, folks. It's John with Raft and Fly. We're out here swinging flies on the Bitterroot River. I just want to take a quick break and talk to you about some of the Trout Spey outfits we recently added to our website. They come from Echo, TFO, and recently Orvis as well. Generally, these rods are going to be 2, 3, and 4 weight rods. You do have an Echo TR2 4 weight and an Echo SR 5 weight. Excuse me. Those are going to be better for maybe swinging during the winter and throwing even heavier sink tips, but for the most part, 2 through 5 weight, even 6 weight sometimes, can act like a light steelhead rod, are going to be considered your Trout Spey rods. So essentially, after you've figured out which Trout Spey rod you'd like, we're going to just run down the list really quick. You're going to be presented with the option for, do you want running line or do you want an integrated head? Most of our Trout Spey outfits are offered with 35-pound OPST laser. We love the stuff. It shoots great. If you're interested in Varavos, certainly shoot us an email. We have a few other lines out there that we can throw together, but for the most part, as far as mono goes, there's nothing quite like laser line. The boys at OPST really done a great job. So is Ed Ward. So, conversely, you do have the option to choose an integrated head, which means that the running line is attached to the head. In that situation, you may want an integrated head if you have been suffering quite a few tangles, possibly, in your integrated line, which can happen. Perhaps you're a new caster, need something a little extra to grab onto, maybe a little more reliable. Mono is something that you are going to have to stretch out at times. You're going to need to grab one end, tighten out to the other as it develops kinks. You're also going to trim it back. This is not something that you're going to have the life of your rod by any means, or probably more than a year and a half or a year. Some folks swinging heavy may go through several spools in one season. But generally, we recommend going with a 35-pound OPST. Tends to kink a little bit less. If you're leaning towards the heavier side, 40-pound is certainly acceptable. But if you aren't going to be swapping heads too much, you may want to consider something like the OPST Commando Smooth, which has an integrated head. It means that the line is attached to the head. It's considerably thicker. It may not shoot as far, but really, I don't think you're going to lose anything more than 10 feet. It's a great option. Personally, you can see that I am swinging the pink OPST 35-pound there on my Echo OHS 7 weight. You might say 7 weight really behaves like a 4 weight. We'll talk about that in a little bit. So that brings us to what type of head do you choose? We tend to present you at least 2 options, occasionally 3 options. We know that not everybody swings the same. There's certainly a difference between Skagit and Scandi, so we'll start there. They say Scandi is like threading the needle, Skagit is your hammer. Skagit is going to be used for, throwing big bugs, maybe punching through the wind, things of that nature. And certainly where you probably want to start if I was a beginner. It is where I started as a beginner, actually. The swing is a little bit different. It's slower. It's going to load deeper into your rod. You're going to be able to feel your cast a little bit more. And then once you progress, you may want to go to Scandi. Typically, we're going to focus on 4 weights today. It's my personal favorite size. All sorts of them. I'm kind of weird that way. So generally with a 4 weight rod, like your typical Echo SR 4 weight, or let's see, this Echo OHS 7 weight, which is really a 4 weight, or the Orvis Clearwater 4 weight, and Echo Trout Spey. We offer a whole bunch of them out there anyways. Typically, we find that, those who want a cannon or are new to casting are probably going to start with something in a 275 grain window. And I know a bunch of people are going to get super mad at me for saying that. Um, you know, personally, I carry 3 different size heads, but if you are a new caster, you probably want to go a little bit heavy. This is certainly going to load deeper into the butt section of your rod. And it's not quite what the OPST chart recommends, but this is what we found to work great. So start with a 275 grain head, or some folks are going to say a 250 grain head is also great. This Commando Smooth also is a 250 grain. So you have the choice of 275 or 250. I carry both. On days where I'm not, I'm trying to do a softer presentation, but still want to throw Skagit style, I'll bump down to a 250 grain head. This is something that, if you are using mono or a non-integrated running line, you'll be able to swap heads in and out. Integrated, you're stuck with one. So there you have it. And so let's say we're swinging during the day, like right now. The water is fairly up. It's a little bit blown out, actually. We're still out here because it's beautiful. And a situation where you're going to want to throw a Skagit, of course, bigger bugs, but also sink tips. You're going to be picking up more weight naturally. So we'd probably throw Skagit with a 275 or 250, or if we were down in the 3-weight size, probably say something in the low 2s to 250. Go back and forth again. But again, 275 is my preference. You're gonna yell at me. And so, but recently we started swinging Scandi, which is super fun, and it's something that been doing Trout Spey for a couple of years now. Thanks to my buddies out there, Brian. Thanks for helping me with my cast. Also, Whitney Gold, thank you. Really helped me out. Hope to see you on the Bitterroot. We're out in Idaho. But so for the 4-weight, if we're going to be throwing dries like later today around sunset, the March Browns are probably going to pop out again. We really need a softer presentation. The Skagit probably isn't going to do it. Hence, they call this threading the needle. Generally, on a 4-weight rod, I'm going to throw something about in the 240 grain window. 240 I found is perfect for me. It's what I recommend to everybody else. You can ask around, call around. Happy to talk to you. Get on our website, got chat support. But yeah, so we have 240 Scandi, and an integrated and just a separated head. Again, I carry the Scandi and the 240, the 250, and a 270. It seems super overkill, but heck, we on a shop, why not? So with Scandi, you are going to carry possibly no tips with this, or maybe some light poly tips. So generally with Scandi, I recommend throwing a leader, which is typically the length of your rod. This 10-foot 4-inch Echo OHS, I'll simply measure from my head down to the butt section with my tippet. Super easy to do, and that's what I'll be throwing. You can play around that a little bit, certainly worth it. But for the most part, for Skagit, you're gonna want to have some tips. You need that extra 8 to 12 feet actually, and we'll discuss that here in a second. But we offer 2 different tip options, and we'll probably mess around with this a little bit later. There's replacement tips were super popular for a while, but generally something in the T8 range is really ideal. I would say anything from 50 grains actually to 80 grains per foot. So let's discuss that. We have 2 different options for you. We have the Rio 3D Motip kit. There are 3 tips in here. Comes with a wallet that comes with, basically an intermediate, a Sync 3, Sync 5, and a Sync 5, Sync 6, Sync 7. This year, they've come out with this new system essentially where there are 3 different levels to the syncing rate. So it's supposed to provide less of a hinge and a little bit more even presentation, more fish. what isn't included in this kit is a floating tip. I know, bummer. So we went over to our boys at OPST and we picked up the Micro Skagit. This is a 50 grain, 10-foot tip. Yeah, 10 feet, keeps in line with the same Mo tip option, but there are situations where when you're throwing Skagit, you're not going to have Scandy head all the time. And so we found that this clear Micro Skagit floating tip is tapered, awesome presentation. And so we include that in our Rio head wallet as well. Boom. But for some folks, and to the credit of OPST, there's something called blowing your anchor, and it's super common actually for the folks who are learning and finding out what works for them. And so in that case, besides the 10-foot floating tip that we carry, you get that in that 4-pack of OPST tips. Boom. We carry the riffle, the run, and the bucket. And so, like it sounds, bucket, fast sink, riffle, intermediate. Sorry, I got that backwards. And run, intermediate, riffle. Think about something in like the S2 range. And so these actually come in the 12-foot option. So in cases where some people have been blowing their anchor, it's a common issue. You could try lengthening your tip. It's going to create more of a sustained anchor. You can always try and lengthen your leader as well to compensate. But a 12-foot tip works great for that. And generally, the boys over at OPST, they threw this idea out to me and I played around with it. It seems to be true. So that any rod that's generally in the 11-foot or larger range is going to probably prefer a 12-foot tip. But like I said, if you like Mo tips and you're familiar with them or already have some, you can keep with that. But certainly fewer blown anchors. And so finally, we get to your reel. You have a couple options as well there. So for the 4-weight Trout Spey range, we generally recommend a 7-9 weight reel, a little bit heavier. You're gonna want something that's heavy enough so your rod feels balanced. If I go lighter, smaller, or heavier, smaller, things still work, but it just doesn't feel quite as dialed. We are happy to also substitute a 6-7 weight. Not a big deal. And so, some folks might say, I want a slightly nicer reel. And in that case, personally, I own a lot of bat and kill reels, and so we were super stoked to pick up Orvis recently. And so we have the Orvis bat and kill in a 7-9. It's extremely durable. This is going to last a lifetime, whereas this Echo Ion, I've had mine for 3 years, and it's been great. It's not without its quirks and little O-ring replacements and things, but this Orvis bat and kill for less than $100 more is a really great option. We offer it in a click pawl option, but weight-wise, the bat and kill 4 and the disc adds roughly the weight that you need, or I feel you need, to your Trout Spey rig. So there you have it. If you guys have any questions, check out our website. It's raftandfly.com. Feel free to shoot me an email. sales@raftandfly.com. We have chat support, all that good stuff. Happy to geek out. Oh, got a deer. Take care, guys. Good to talk to you.